It is a warm welcome to another episode of Crime Watch, where we unravel your police service day-to-day duties in a bid to incorporate you in policing our respective communities with the view of fighting crime and creating societies that are conducive for economic development. My name is Onesisa Sibanda. It is always a pleasure to have you along. As your police service, we would like to remind you that crime does not pay, and all lawbreakers will be brought to book. The Zimbabwe Republic Police would like to thank members of the public as well as the judicial system for assisting us in our endeavor to clean our societies of unruly elements. In our previous episode, we carried a story in which a 21-year-old man, Blessed Morris of Beatrice, was found in possession of 4 snakes and a Komonjo dragon, also known as Ligwan, Mupura in Shona, and Uqamu in Ndebele. The accused appeared before Harare Provincial Magistrate Court and was sentenced to the mandatory 9 years imprisonment for possession of protected animals without a permit. In another related case, Tayenza Namakaza, aged 32, and John Kativu, aged 34, were recently sentenced to 9 years imprisonment each at Harare Magistrate Court after being found in possession of a live pangolin. On the other hand, Enoch Mateka and Alex Zenga, both aged 29, were arrested after contravening Section 60, Bracket A, Bracket 3 of the Electricity Act, Chapter 13.19, after they were found in possession of Zesa cables. The duo was convicted and sentenced to 10 years imprisonment each at Harare Magistrate Court. Clever Shungu, aged 54, appeared at Gweru Magistrate Court late last month and was convicted and sentenced to 24 years imprisonment for rape. On the other hand, police in Bulawayo have launched an operation targeting criminals who steal from cars. Operation No to Theft from Cars is proving to be a success as 6 people have already been nabbed.
Bulawayo Central was faced with the unprecedented levels of theft from motor vehicles that was becoming a headache both to the community and to the Zimbabwe Republic Police. An operation No to Theft from Motor Vehicles was hedged. The operation successfully accounted for suspects who are now held assisting police with investigations. These are Violet Ndlovu and Kwanele Ndlovu. The operation also went further to arrest Simon Ndlovu, aged 31, from Phumula South. Further investigations led to the arrest of Ketukutula Ndlovu from Phumula South, and lastly Cherera from Makandeni. They move robbing people, breaking into vehicles and getting away with the various items, laptops, handbags, cash, name it, even cell phones. In the process, 5 vehicles were recovered. Some people usually leave their phones on a charger in the vehicle, laptops, handbags. Those are inviting criminals. So we're urging members of the public, drivers, to actually make sure that all those things are removed from the sight of the criminals.
With me here is an advanced remote control, which is used by the criminals. They press it when the owner of the vehicle is locking his vehicle. When they press this thing, the vehicle doesn't lock, but the sound is produced as if it is locked. The owner of the vehicle will go to the shop or wherever it's going, but then the thieves will just come and open the doors. They steal your property, no damage is made to the vehicle. I've got another multi-purpose device here, which contains it is a pliers, it was a knife, screwdrivers. This thing is used to hit the quarter glass of the vehicle. Once they hit, the quarter glass will break. They put their hand inside the vehicle, they unlock from the inside. I've got another device, which is an Allen key, which is shaped into a T device. This thing, when they hold it like this, they press this device into the locking or key hole. Once they lock, they press it, they break the lock of the vehicle, then they open the car. These are the devices which the criminals are using.
shuva vazhinji tiri kubirwa tiri kuita sei, asi mapurisa ari kuedza nepese pavanogona kunyangwe vasina maresources ekufambisa, asi vari kugona kutichengetedza kubudikidza nembavha idzi dzabatwa dziri kubira vanhu. Tinovatenda.
In a disturbing case in Bulawayo, a man was recently electrocuted while he was stealing overhead ZESA copper cables. Z07E03 Hillside, ZESA officials and the fire department attended the scene.
We have been attending a scene where one man was electrocuted whilst trying to steal copper cables, ZESA copper cables. The person was in possession of 2 cutters and a knife which he wanted to use for cutting the electric cables. So we warned the would-be criminals that they will be caught, and otherwise they will die through being electrocuted.
So in this particular case, he thought there was no power, but our 11 kV line was energized whilst he was in the process of stealing. They've been stealing it for the past 2 weeks. And what they initially did was they stole from the source, so that he knew automatically that this other part had no power. Little did he know that the 11 kV line was energized.
As the police, we strongly warn members of the public against tampering with electrical cables and urge them to treat every loose ZESA cable as live. The police will arrest anyone involved in theft and vandalism of public utilities and infrastructure. We are in the second segment of Crime Watch. Thank you for staying tuned. Police in Bulawayo have arrested a man found in possession of 95 bottles of Broncare and a plastic full of Daha.
I sent a team of drug gangers for surveillance in the CPT of Bulawayo. When they were at corner 6th Avenue and Lopengula Street, they observed a navy blue VW vehicle. At that vehicle, it was observed that there were some dealings of illegal drugs. They managed to arrest the person who was selling those drugs. 95 bottles of Broncare were recovered from the vehicle. There were also paper bags full of loose daga. Some of the daga was packed in sachets ready for sale. I would like to take this opportunity to warn members of the public to desist from dealing in dangerous drugs. Our dogs are highly trained in sniffing drugs, so those who think will benefit out of this, be warned.
Meanwhile, as schools closed last week, the police intensified campaigns against drug and substance abuse, especially by teenagers and school-going children. Recently, a team of detectives from CID Drugs and Narcotics Section visited Mchabezi High School in Matabeleland South Province to interact with learners and teachers on how to end this menace.
As CID Drugs Bulawayo, we are reaching out to schools in order to conscientize children about drug abuse. Since we know that when schools are closing, they tend to conduct vuzu parties where they actually abuse drugs. So we are conscientizing people to say no to vuzu parties.
We are given a lecture by the Bulawayo CIDs on substance abuse and drug abuse. Now we as youth tend to take these drugs for our own advantage and for our own pleasures. But mind you, ladies and gentlemen, these have a negative impact in our lives, and thus we are destroying our lives by taking these drugs.
Do not ruin your life just for a single pleasure that will just vanish in a day. So let us be wise in making the choices that we make, and let us be wise in making the right decisions that will not affect our future.
We saw it prudent to invite the police to come and assist us, especially on the guidance and counseling for our learners and our teachers, whom I believe both need the expertise and the knowledge on how to handle the issue of drugs that is bedeviling our community. We are very much thankful, and we pledge our support that we will continue working with them. Those that I have seen, we're very thankful. especially the teachers, they are now aware that they can advise and detect some of the drugs that could be causing behavior changes in the school community.
Meanwhile, the officer commanding ZRP Marondera District, Chief Superintendent Didimas Sakarombe, has met with the business community to discuss crime trends and how they can be involved in the fight against crime.
This district is employing quite a number of strategies in an effort to curb crime. Currently, the district has 17 operations running, which are bearing fruits in curbing crime. The district's effort can be noted by a decrease in crime as intensified deployments are being done. Furthermore, stations are being instructed to intensify crime awareness campaigns where the society is being educated on target hardening and removal techniques, increased police visibility in crime-prone areas. And we want to applaud the assistance from community participation in crime. The Neighborhood Watch, through guidance from the CCC and Back Force.
It is prudent that we have constant meetings as CCC and the police so that we map ways of how to curb crime and keep our properties intact, keep our lives intact without any hassles.
Let me take this moment to advise all the business people in Marondera. Please, it's good that you come and join to work with the police to fight crime. Don't take money with you at the end of the day after sales. Don't take it to your home. You never know who is watching you.
Moving on, as the nation commemorates the 39th anniversary of the Heroes' Day, as well as the Defense Forces Day, the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe conducted a campaign in Mbare, which is aimed at promoting adherence to road rules and regulations on both motorists and pedestrians in order to reduce traffic accidents.
We are selling a very complex product, and that product is road safety. So selling road safety to the people requires several strategies. One of the strategies is via personal selling through road shows. Road shows, we are here pambare pachinoitika pano pambare zvese zviri pano pambare vanhu vari pano pambare ndo panotangira mabhazi nekugumira mabhazi nyika yose. So we are carrying this particular product to the people, by the people, tichivataurira kuti look, you must make a plan this particular Heroes and Defense Forces holidays. What is your safety plan? How, as individuals, families, as groups, as youth, how are you going to be safe on our roads? As a driver, as a pedestrian, as a passenger. So we are cascading that gospel. We have been speaking to them all along. Now they are speaking to us, sharing with us their plans. So amongst the road safety plans, pedestrians are now getting to know that they must keep it safe by making sure they stay away from the road. Then those who are on bicycles, the cyclists, are also aware they are the most vulnerable in terms of traffic on our roads. So we are knocking at the doors of all road users to allow us to speak to the inner person. And your inner person must have a plan. Iplan ipi aminayo pazororo re holiday, se mori, se nyika, se ma church, tataura nezvima designated drivers. This is our campaign, and we hope that we are going to reduce all road traffic deaths by 50% by the year 2030, resonating with the National Vision 2030 as espoused by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa.
Tadzidza zvakawanda nezve abuse, kuti kunyanya kwakadzi abuse yakanyanyisa, especially kana uchinge kwadoka. Vanhu vanoabuswa, even kugara mukombe umwe unogariswa pakadoma. Ndozokurudzira kumadzimai kuti please musakwire mota yamusingazive, ungonzipinda mota umwe kutoenda. Pane zvakawanda zvatiri kuona zviri kuitika. Kana usina mota hauna, famba nemakombi eruzhinji ari kufamba nevamwe.
Amai kana muchifamba nevana murimi mune mwana, fambai makamubata ari ku right side kwenyu, kuitira kuti mota kana yakuya inonge iri kuside kwako iwewe munhu mukuru. Mwana mudiki anenge ari nani, iwewe ndiwe unoziva, nekuti mwana akabuda mukati memaoko ako anoenda kumota, anondovira kumota.
Kana uchifamba zvezvera wafanira kuisa maheadphones because hauzokwanise kuona kana kunzwa zvikuitika. Uye madriver hatifanirawo kuisawo maheadphones kana famba tichibaya-baya WhatsApp kana tichifamba zvezvera. tichidhiraivha makombi tifanira kuchengetedza upenyu hwevanhu vatinotakataura nekuti hakuna second chance.
Meanwhile, the Zimbabwe Republic Police is concerned with the prevalence of unregistered vehicles, touts, and illegal foreign currency dealers. The following are arrests that have been made by the police for the respective offences since January 2019. A total of 9,504 unregistered motor vehicles were impounded, and these will only be released after the owners have regularized the registration of these vehicles with the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructural Development. On the other hand, 28,500 touts have been arrested. We urge transport operators to desist from employing touts as they serve no purpose since travelers know their destinations and do not need anyone to assist them. 4,078 illegal foreign currency dealers were also arrested since January 2019, and as police, we will continue ridding our nation of these lawbreakers. We encourage you to make use of banks and bearer changes for such transactions, as such dealings are not only illegal, but can also make you targets of robbers. Stay tuned for the third and final segment of Crime Watch. Welcome back to Crime Watch. The S07E03 is involved in several social responsibility programs which have seen the organization helping the disadvantaged members of the society, such as widows and orphans. Following the devastating effects of Cyclone Idai, which left a trail of destruction in Chimanimani and other areas in Zimbabwe, officers and members of the police recently pulled resources together to help victims of the cyclone. The donated goods included kitchenwares, food, and clothes.
The police family was deeply moved by the impact of Cyclone Idai and saw it paramount to give a helping hand to victims of the disaster. As an organization, it is our corporate social responsibility to assist affected communities. The driving force is the realization that effective policing must be predicated on the goodwill and cooperation of the communities that we render policing services.
The goods before us were donated by police officers across the length and breadth of Zimbabwe. They are a true reflection of their empathy and deep-seated sorrow that collectively left them with an indictment to ease the pain of our brothers and sisters. This donation to the people of Chimanimani, however big or small, speaks to the seeds of Ubuntu deeply shown in the hearts and minds of our police officers. From the community they came, and to the community they shall return.
On behalf of the government of Zimbabwe, I'd like to extend our heartfelt thanks to the Zimbabwe Republic Police for this timely relief intervention, which has come at a moment when we still need to ensure enough material support to victims of Cyclone Idai. I'd like to commend the police force for this gesture, which will indeed go a long way towards addressing material needs in the affected areas.
Meanwhile, Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Ambassador Kane Matema, and Commissioner General of Police, Thandavanti Godwin Matanga, have honored Assistant Inspector Wilfred Mashaya, who has conquered the world with his exploits in martial arts.
Among us today is a renowned athlete who arguably will be remembered in the Zimbabwe Republic Police's sporting narrative as one of the most prolific. Our notable spokesperson is Assistant Inspector Mashaya, who was crowned the Zimbabwe 2018 Most Outstanding Spokesperson by the Sports and Recreation Commission. Assistant Inspector Mashaya recently added to his accolades the coveted African Union Sports Council Region 5 Sportsman of the Year Award.
As Ministry and Government, we strongly and applaud this higher trajectory and growth in sport participation by police officers. This level of excellence is made more significant by the fact that the bulk of police work is demanding, stressful, and usually less appreciated. We are doing a job to assist the country. Celebrated sportspersons like Assistant Inspector Mashaya, who no doubt have become household names, ought to be used as goodwill ambassadors so as to enhance physiotherapy's public image as well as strengthen its community policing initiatives.
It was a hive of activity in Bindura last week as people thronged to the Mashonaland Central Agricultural Show. This year's show was held under the theme, Agriculture as a Collective Adventure, and the police theme was ZRP Promoting Peace in Sustainable Agricultural Productivity for Stability. The Zimbabwe Republic Police took this opportunity to interact with members of the public and explain its rebranding process.
This year we are exhibiting under the theme ZRP Promoting Peace and Sustainable Agricultural Productivity for Economic Stability. As the police, we are taking advantage of this platform to market our services as we are on our rebranding process. As the police, our mandate is to ensure there is peace so that all the other key players, they can perform their duties without any interference.
Meanwhile, the ZRP won 2 prizes in the Best Security and Overall Winner categories.
Number 1 ZRP. Zimbabwe Republic Police
Ndikutenda zvakare mapurisa nokushanda kwavari kuita kuburikidza nokugadzirisa ukama hwedu necommunity yemumaCentral. Akatikokuudza kuti ngatirambe tichanda pamwe chete kusvikira narini sezvo mapurisa nevanhu ihove neru.
As we come to the end of this week's episode, we would like to highlight some persons who are on the police wanted list. Christopher Mtwairo is wanted by Dema Police and CID Marondera in connection with a murder case which he committed on 11 October 2017. In another case, Tinotenda Makumbe, aged 19, of Musuma Village, Chief Neshangwe Msasa, in Mashonaland East, is being sought by SATSA Police in connection with a rape case. 25-year-old Nometa Sianguka of Msinambongo Village, Chief Sikalenge Binga, is also wanted by ZRP Binga for a case of rape. From me, Onesisa Sivanda, and the crew behind the scenes, enjoy your Heroes and Defense Forces celebrations. See you next time.